Emmet Hugo lives in a wonderful world. Every day he wakes up, puts on his favorite pajamas, Lord knows why he didn't wear them to bed in the first place, and hops on his pet pterodactyl. He loves dinosaurs, you see. Absolutely adores them. In fact, his room is plastered with posters and cutouts of them. After doing a few laps in the sky, Emmet goes to meet his friends. You see, Emmet is a kind boy, so he has many friends. It takes a large chunk of the day to say hello to all his friends, but he always makes the time. Emmet thinks it would be unfair to only say hello to some. He always reserves his first hello of the day for the sun, as it has the courtesy to wake him up every morning, and he wants to return the kindness. Then Emmet stops and chats with the clouds. He finds their cool vapor soothingly easy to talk to. Emmet then takes a dive to the mountains to talk to the Yetis. He loves to roll about with them in the snow and play their silly Yeti games. Emmet loves the snow. Don't tell him I told you this. He'd be furious. But Emmet has a crush on a girl in a small town at the base of the mountains. So, naturally, he goes to see her next. She sometimes brings him roses, you know? I think she has a crush on him, too. After Emmet eats lunch with her family, he goes to his favorite spot in his wonderful world. He gently guides his pterodactyl through a mountain pass to this absolutely gorgeous ledge, overlooking every inch of his wonderful world. The pterodactyl's name is Steven, by the way. I'm sorry, I should have told you that sooner. You know, he was always really particular about the name. As he sits atop this ledge, he gazes upon all that he's seen that day. He sees the sun making its lazy way to the end of the earth, the clouds slowly going back home to clear up the night sky for Emmet so he can say hi to the stars. The Yetis still romping about in the snow, though a touch less enthusiastic now that Emmet is gone. For Emmet brings a special life to things. And finally, he gazes upon the village that houses the girl he likes and smiles. Life is good for Emmet Hugo in his world. Then, Emmet Hugo slowly drifts off to sleep under the wings of Stephen, only to repeat the same routine the next day. Emmet Hugo's world is a good world. It's large as his gorgeous imagination, and full of joy. It is much different from a world such as Emmet Hugo's mother's world. Emmet Hugo's mother lives in a very small world. Her world is one room. In that room is a bed. In that bed is a boy. The room is quiet, except for the constant low hum of the machines that Emmet Hugo's mother wishes weren't there, but knows that they need to be. Emmet Hugo's mother sits on a chair, the same chair she sleeps on every night, eyes fixed on anything but the boy in the bed, as he's too painful to look at. The roses on the nightstand she looks at instead. Emmet Hugo's mother sits in a sort of half stupor, completely oblivious to anything in her world, yet somehow still painstakingly listening to and analyzing the beeping of the machines, looking for, hoping for anything new, any sign. Emmet Hugo's mother occasionally steps out of the room to eat or go to the bathroom, but curiously, her world never expands, for even though physically she's in a different place, all she sees is the room, the bed, and the boy in it. Emmet Hugo's mother lives in a very small world. Emmet Hugo's father's world is somewhere in between the two aforementioned worlds. Not nearly as large as Emmet's. No, he couldn't even imagine imagining something that large. But not nearly as small as Emmet's mother's either. Emmet Hugo's father still goes to work. You know, someone's got to pay the bills. Emmet Hugo's father lives at Emmet Hugo's old house. Someone has to take care of it. Emmet Hugo's father talks to all sorts of people like his wife's parents, managing their concerned questions for his wife because she can't answer them. Emmet Hugo's father talks to people like the little girl who brings Emmet roses, managing her innocent questions about when Emmet is going to wake up, for Emmet can't answer them. You know, Emmet Hugo's father manages. After working and talking to all the people that his son and wife can't, Emmet Hugo's father goes and sits in the room with the bed and the boy and the machines. There's also something that's too painful to look at in this room for Emmet Hugo's father. However, it's not Emmet Hugo like it is for his wife, but rather, it is his wife. He knows Emmet Hugo is soaring in the skies with Steven and playing with Yetis and napping on ledges and living in his big, wonderful world. Every time Emmet Hugo's father looks at Emmet, he sees that lovely boy having so much fun in his dreams. Every time Emmet Hugo's father looks at his wife, all he sees is a stranger. She won't even answer him, you know? She doesn't even talk to him anymore. He doesn't understand why she won't share her pain with him. He's in pain too, you know? So why can't they share each other's pain? Why can't they do it together like they've done everything together? Like they parented Emmet, like they walked down the aisle hand in hand, like they've done always. Why? Why won't she at least speak to him? Every time Emmet Hugo's father looks at his wife, every time these thoughts come into his head, he cries. Because Emmet Hugo's father has already lost Emmet. He doesn't want to lose his wife too. So when Emmet Hugo's father, when I stop crying, I leave and I go back to my house. I open the door to the room with all the dinosaurs on the walls, and I sleep with my son's little pterodactyl plushie in my hands. The plushie's name is Steven.